With that?
Well, I think always in the first game, you go out there and you don't know what to expect with the team that you're playing. They've got the same staff back, but there's always going to be something, and it's going to be a matter of those young guys when they get in that they just focus on what they've been coached, and if they'll do that, they're going to be in great shape. Their talent will take over, and if they just do what they're coached to do and don't get out of the realm of just the game, and it's taking what we did at practice and coming out and making sure that they use their technique and fundamentals. You can't get into the past, you can't get into the present. Everybody's got to be focused and centered. There's going to be some bad things that happen, and I think we're mature enough now to, when those bad things happen, to come back, regroup, and get it fixed, and then we got to move forward.
Mark said yesterday he'd love to get Drew into the game if possible, love to get him an opportunity. Do you kind of feel that similar as well?
Absolutely. Again, it's going to depend on the flow of the game, and we would love to get him in the game. So it's just going to depend on how the game is going, where we're at in the game, and we'll just play that by ear.
Hey, what about the Southern Miss defense?
You know what? They're fast. They're twitchy up front. A lot of movement, and they cause some problems. The biggest thing that they feed on is, I think, is getting you in second and long. And we've got to be efficient on first down. I've talked about that a lot. We're good when we're efficient on first down. When we're not, then you're behind the chains, and that's when they feed off of what they do well. So we've got to stay out of third and longs. That's not a very fun call, and we got to be able to execute when we do have that. Though we've got to be able to, we call it our money down. We got to make sure that we convert.
How would you call yourself now? Happy, pleased, content, upset, antsy, angry, all the above, none of the above? What's your mental state right now?
I'm really excited about playing a game and hitting somebody else. I'm excited to see where we're at. You get in your second year of this offense, and they know what to do. So we're going to see if they can go execute now. It's not going to be anything magical. It's really going to be about just going up there and executing and coming with an attitude.
Eddie, you're so different offensively than you were at the opener last year. Did you take many lessons from that game? What can you learn from that?
Yeah, we were different. You look at us from the first game to the sixth game, and we were a different offense. And so I think that, as we go into this year, we know who we are, we know our personnel, and we'll try to use that to our benefit.
Now that Kyle Meadows has had a few more weeks to practice at left tackle, have you seen him maybe become more comfortable?
Yes, he has, and I think Coach Lorman's done a good job of mixing those guys around, and we've got a lot of guys that can play different positions, and that's a good thing for us, but Kyle has definitely become more comfortable there.
Do you need to settle into a rotation? There were a lot of oars on that depth chart. Do you need to settle in to get comfortable, or are you okay with the switching all season?
Yeah, I don't know about all season. We'll see who's producing. And those guys will obviously get more reps. I think that if you have the good two deep and you're not dropping off when you get the next guy in, and there's going to be some positions at the wide receiver position, and they're going to have to make plays, and we'll see who makes the plays and up front to see who's doing a good job and protecting and run blocking and doing all the things we're asking them to do, and those guys will play more. As we get further through the season, then we'll just decide as we go.
Eddie, with Dorian out, has any of those young guys stepped up right away, or is it still pretty much a group thing?
I think it's a group thing. I think you'll see a lot of them play. I think we want to be fresh. We want to have vertical speed, and I think you'll see a lot of them in there in the game, and we'll see how they're doing. We'll look at those young guys early, get them in, and make sure that they don't have big eyes, and see them on the sideline and see how they're reacting.
Stoops said that Benny was a guy that the deeper he gets into a game, the more powerful a runner he becomes. How rare is that in a running back, and how many carries gets him warmed up? Do you have a number?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a number. I think we got to get him going. There's going to be some. It's like I talked to him about it. There's going to be some bad plays, and that's what happens when you're running the football. Sometimes there's you gain one, sometimes it's 2nd and 10, and all of a sudden you spurt that 60-yarder or that 40-yarder, and you get an explosive play. So we're going to have to find out what works well for us against them. But he does get better as it goes on, and hopefully that'll be to our benefit.
When did you see the light come on for Saheem? Both you and Mark have talked about that in the last couple weeks.
I think, now that he really knows that he has a chance, it was hard last year, because he worked like crazy every day at practice, and then he didn't get an opportunity. So for him to come out and still, he came where he left off. And then in the spring, he really felt like that he was going to be able to contribute, and he solidified himself as the second running back, and he'll be the first one in when Benny needs a breather.
Will you normally
He's doing really
change?
well.
Will you normally change your game plan more in the first game because you're not 100% sure what the defense will do? So you and your coaching staff have to make more adjustments that you might in game 4 when you see a lot of things on tape and you know what they're going to do.
Yes, we will. We will. I think in game 4, when you have 3 or 4 games to evaluate, you know a little bit more about your opponent. So, there was not a staff change there, so that's going to, I think, help us. But there's going to be some stuff that they have that we haven't seen. There's no question. There's stuff that we have that they haven't seen. So, it'll be a chess match, and at the end of the day, we're going to have to execute when that time comes. But it does get easier, I think, statistically, when you're getting numbers, when you have 3 or 4 games to evaluate.
Charles Walker's a guy who doesn't get talked about a ton, but what does he bring?
That's a good question. I think he's had a really good camp, and he's a guy that he'll be in there when we go 10 personnel. He'll be a guy that goes in there, and he can do different positions for us, which makes him very valuable. And I think you'll see him catch some balls this year, whereas last year, he was kind of a spot guy and more special teams. I think he'll be a big part of this thing.
And how much have you guys the staff talked to the team about last year's game as a motivational tool compared to just a technical tool of what you did right or wrong in last year's game?
A little bit of both. Number one, I don't think we're going to have to get them excited about the game. I hope not. You wouldn't think so. They know. We got our tail whipped. That's the bottom line. We scored 35 points in the first half, and we scored 0 in the second half. That's unacceptable. And so, I think that they'll have a good attitude going in, and then you got to learn from the mistakes. The second part of that question was, what did we do wrong? Where did we go wrong? Calling plays, and also what did we do wrong in terms of us fundamentally and technique.
When you reviewed the film from that game last year, did any of Southern Miss's guys who are coming back this year jump out at you that you have to really account for?
Yeah, I think their front four. I think their front four is really good. They've got a junior college player that has come in and is big, and they've beefed up their inside, and I think they've got really good speed rushers. I think their linebackers do a great job. They run to the football. They're coached very well. They understand where they need to be, and so I think it's a heck of a defense for our first game. This is going to be a huge challenge for us.